Rammies tomorrow. Falcons going to get it on tomorrow afternoon as well. We are excited to be the new home of the Colorado State Rams. We're excited to see what Jay Norvell and his boys can do this year up there in FOCO, and to talk about the season opener, get a little preview of the season that will be. We bring on the voice, the man that you will be hearing a lot right here on The Fan. You'll hear him tomorrow, 9 o'clock kickoff there for CSU. He is Brian Roth, joining Dover and Cecil on The Fan. Brian, first off, man, thank you for joining us. How the heck have you been, man?
Yeah, good. Yeah, it's been a long summer of a lot of golf, but back in football mode, ready to get it kicked off, and stoked that we're going to be on The Fan all season long, so we're excited about that too.
Fired up. I love that you got the golf bug as well, man. I've been all over it this summer. Let's talk about these Rammies. Everybody wants to talk about Dion in the transfer portal, but how about Norvell and the Rammies there in the transfer portal? A lot of turnover, a lot of additions via the portal, specifically on defense. Brian, can you talk to me about the new guys on that side of the ball?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look, in this day and age of college football, I mean, the roster turnover is crazy, right? I mean, CSU lost both their defensive ends last year, and they're now at Wake Forest. They lost their two linebackers, one to Cal, one to West Virginia, right? And so you look at this defense, and it's almost completely new. You have a couple of newcomers coming in from the transfer portal. Jacob Ellis coming over from Iowa State, and he's named team captain, a kid named Jaquez Evans that comes over from Baylor, who's going to be kind of a hybrid defensive end and outside linebacker. And he's a guy who was the Conference USA Defensive Player of the Year 2 years ago down at Western Kentucky, went to Baylor last year and got hurt a couple games into the year, so really didn't play much for the Bears, but he is now in Fort Collins. So, you know, the transfer portal taketh, but the transfer portal also giveth.
Yeah, it definitely taketh, and sometimes the NFL taketh in terms of, well, our guy Torrey Horton from last year, and certainly my guys up in Seattle love what Horton's doing for the Seahawks. How does CSU replace Horton? And again, back to the transfer portal, because they got a couple transfer guys that could pop this year.
Yeah, I mean, look, you don't replace a guy like Torrey Horton. You just don't. I mean, you try to do your best to kind of replace him by committee, because Torrey was a special player, and not
Right.
just a special player, a special human being. I mean, his leadership qualities and his character off the field, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind he is going to be a really good NFL player for, 7 to 10 years. So when a kid like that comes through your program and does what he did here at CSU, you can't replace him. But what Colorado State can do is try to replace him with a group of guys. And Colorado State did go into the transfer portal. They brought in a former four-star kid named Kojo Antwi from Ohio State. Antwi didn't get a lot of playing time last year at Ohio State. And, of course, that's nothing to shake your head about, because that was the best wide receiving room in the entire nation. But, he's a kid coming off an Achilles injury, and now here at Colorado State, hoping to get a new start. And then, you have some guys returning, including a true sophomore, a kid named Jordan Ross at wide receiver. He was a former four-star recruit, was here last year as a true freshman, and CSU was able to beat out a ton of Power 4 schools to get Jordan Ross. He's an L.A. kid. Came last year, kind of learned the system, had about 20 catches a season ago. Well, he's kind of been the stalwart of spring and fall camp, and the coaching staff thinks he's kind of going to be the next guy. Now, don't expect him to be Torrey Horton here this fall, but
Right.
Jordan Ross is a guy to look at. Again, he wears number 0, and not as big as Horton. Horton's 6'2". Ross is about 5'10", 5'11", but really quick twitch guy that has some good speed.
We are talking with the voice of the CSU Rams. You'll hear him all season long right here on The Fan. He is Brian Roth, talking about the season opener tomorrow night at 9. Brian, I've read a lot about two names, that tight end position there. Jackson Warren feels like he's getting a lot of hype up there. What can he do? And is this the greatest name of all time, Rocky Beers? Can we talk about those guys, please?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first off, Colorado State didn't get a lot of production from the tight end spot last year, and of course, just what 4 years ago, had the best tight end in the nation, Mackey Award winner Trey McBride, who, for my money, is the best tight end in the world right now. So
us too.
Tight end's been a great spot for Colorado. Of course, Joel Dreesen going back in the day, and just a few years ago, Dallin Holker, who ended up in the Saints camp and has since retired, but tight end's always been big for Colorado State, and in particular in this Jay Norvell offense, and they really didn't have that tight end last year. They thought it was going to be a kid named Jackson Warren. Now, Warren's a 6'8" kid that's really never played tight end at the Division I level. went out of high school to North Texas as a 6'8" quarterback. And then, midway through his season there, they just felt like he wasn't going to be a Division I quarterback, so they moved him to tight end, and he's a stud. I mean, he is a big-time athlete, and our coaching staff thinks that he's going to be the next NFL tight end from Colorado State. Now, again, you say that when he hasn't taken a snap at that position at the Division I level, but they expect big things out of him. And then, Rocky Beers. I mean, you kidding me? Come to Colorado, right? I mean, if he has a good year this year, by October, I mean, there better be beer companies jumping on the NIL train with Rocky Beers. And the great thing about Rocky, and again, he's a kid that comes from Florida International. Spent the last 2 years there, but he's a Colorado kid. He's a kid that played with his brother Rowdy. His brother's named Rowdy.
Oh, wow. Whoa. I love this family.
Yeah. Okay. Now, Rowdy's not at Colorado State. Rocky is. But, they're local guys. They both prepped at Valor Christian High School.
Wow. Simply fantastic. Like Jay Norvell is fantastic for this team. We know with the fire, the intensity, what's the feel with Norvell's staff this year as they look for CSU to keep taking those strides? And, of course, then – we're going to be having a conversation soon with those strides that Norvell will get a new contract.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really important season, obviously, for Jay Norvell.
Mm-hmm.
It's his fourth year here at Colorado State, but really for the first football program altogether in the athletic program because, football drives the bus, guys. We all know that in college athletics, and the Rams basketball team has been good of late and whatnot. But, you look at football drives the bus, and Colorado State hasn't won in football. But last year obviously started to turn that corner. Jay Norvell goes from 3 wins in year 1, 5 in year 2, 8 last year in year 3. Now it's year number 4, and with the facilities that CSU has and the funding and the support from the university, I mean, CSU should be one of the best non-Power 4 programs in the nation. The president believes that. The athletic director believes that. The fans certainly believe that. I think Jay Norvell believes that too. And so here we are, year number 4. Can you take that next step, right? Can you compete for a conference championship? Can you pop a season to go 9-3, 10-2 here this year? And so that'll be really interesting. I think Jay Norvell has his fingerprints and his handprints all over this program. And now in year number 4, it's time to kind of turn that corner and turn it up a notch and be one of the best group of 5 programs in the nation, and not just this year. You move into next year in the new conference in the Pac-12 and beyond.
Brian, outstanding stuff, man. Cannot wait to get this thing going tomorrow night. Of course, you'll hear Brian right here on The Fan all season long. Brian, we'd love to do this with you regularly to get folks fired up for the games that you'll be calling, so thank you for this time, and hopefully we can connect real soon again.
Absolutely. Anytime. Thanks, fellas.
All right, there he is, Brian Roth. Brian H. Roth on Twitter. Follow him, hear him right here on The Fan. Excited about this partnership. How about a 6'8"?
Fired up.
A 6'8" tight end up there at CSU.
Yes,
and
another
then
one.
They have Rocky Beers.
Tight end you.
It's the best.
And I'd say forget the Kelsey Brothers podcast because who likes Jason or Travis Kelsey? I want Rowdy and Rocky podcast now.
Give me a Beers podcast.
Now.
And I will subscribe immediately. Shout out to Brian Roth. Kevin, great work getting him lined up for us. Really appreciate that. We'll reset some of that conversation with Brian a little later. Talk about this big game coming up in the big weekend that will be in college sports. In the meantime, we'll get back to some Broncos. Chat a little bit about what Sean